Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. And I am glad that everybody who was here today came because we've got ourselves one heck of a guest tonight. We have got Rich, also known as Biggnastycomics, joining us tonight. Hi, Rich. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just glad that it's another Tuesday. We're all up and smiling, and the world is sort of out there. I've
Yeah,
got Smurfs, everything's
Smurf.
good.
Yeah, like yeah.
Before we get started, I just want to mention the people here. I am dropping a link in the chat. That's the link to the video where you can go and type in "I have that." Hashtag I have that for if you want to join, if you want a chance of winning one of my 5 prizes. This might be 3 of them.
Yes.
And other than that, there will not be a show next week because my daughter turns 12 on that day. So I will be otherwise occupied on Tuesday. But let's take a moment before we get going to say hello to everybody that's dropped on by. Hello, Andreas. K. Munin. Well, some guy named Big Nasty. Robbie, good to see you. Nate. Apparently you're on a show later and I'm going to have more books to buy.
Yeah.
We've got JSS Brooklyn.
JSS.
We've got Lyle. Hi, Lyle.
Big Lyle.
Hope you're feeling better. Comic Mike, who's going to be my next guest in 2 weeks' time, is with us tonight.
Cool.
And K. Muniz says that the bell is the best prize. You do know that one of the prizes is a $25 credit at, right? And we've got Celia in the crowd. Hi, Gotham and Glam. Good that you can make it. All right. Rich.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen your first video, so I really don't know the answer to this question. So would you be so kind as to enlighten us on how did you get into comic books?
Well, I really have to give credit to my cousin, we're more like brothers. My cousin Jamie, he was into them, and got me going towards them and stuff. And his parents would buy him comics a lot, but I parents was very selective of what they would buy me and stuff. So I got to read his a lot. He was in the DC and Marvel and all that kind of stuff. So then when I finally talked him into buying my first comic, it kind of that started it off. And then having him there to help pick up the slack, let me look through his stuff that he had and where I slacked out or whatever. But just through the years, he's been my anchor to it. He's been my constant. He's been the one guy I could always call and talk to and say, hey, ask questions and this and that, and just kept me kind of going. Then, like I said, a couple of years ago, I just started getting back into it more. So it's every time he comes into town, we do a comic crawl. I take him around as many shops as we can and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Does he live close to you, or
no? He actually lives in DC, just outside of DC. So we don't get to see each other, but maybe a couple times a year. But
it's still pretty cool to be able to have a chance to go on a crawl once in a while.
Yeah, we make the most of it. He comes in for a few days. We definitely.
Are there a lot of stores near you?
Yeah, I've said, like I've mentioned in my videos before and stuff. I'm really blessed to have quite a few LCSs around me. I can go north and hit several stores. I can go south of me and hit several stores. It's really cool, and that's why I kind of started doing on my channel, doing my highlight series. And I've still got some other stores that I've got lined up to do. Yeah, just to kind of showcase them for anybody that's halfway in the area or passing through or something, at least shine a little bit of light on these stores. Like I said, I just feel very fortunate to have so many good stores around me to choose from. So
no, it's good to it's always good to give the local comic book shops shout outs, even if we're not getting sponsored by them, because one, we wouldn't exist without them.
Right.
Even with the cons, a lot of them are run by guys who run comic stores. It certainly is that way in my area.
Mm-hmm.
And just the fact that, they are the ones that are putting their livelihoods on the line if they don't do well. And if they don't do well and close, well, we don't have the stores anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, K-Munin, we're all in the same boat. I already need another one. I've just filled number 71, and still got comics. I've still got stuff to file. Seven out the yin yang.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the lateral cabinet route, I think, and start stashing some in a cabinet style thing or something, because just to occupy more space or something. But
yeah, part of my problem is that I like to store everything alphabetically, and I don't do it by company. I literally do it alphabetically. I do it in the order that comes in the Overstreet guide.
Oh wow!
That way I know.
No.
Okay. Because the Overstreet guide uses the official name of the title.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even though, like, for example, I'm not saying that this one in particular, this says Superman on the book, but for all we know, it could be the Merry Melody Adventures of Superman, and that would be what's inside, and that's what they put it. No, but that's what they would put in the guide.
That's how they put it, huh? I didn't know that.
Hi, Lau. So, who is your favorite books?
My favorite books. Well, I can show you in my pile here in a little bit when I go to show the books. Conan's the one that got me started. That's the first comic book I ever bought. Well, I got my parents to buy me, and then from there I just kind of branched out, being influenced by other people that you meet. And we had another friend. His name was honest Bubba Beasley.
Bubba Beasley. Now there's a name. Bubba Beasley.
And he's the one that shared my love for the oddness, the oddness, goodness type stuff, the indie stuff, the old indie stuff, which I didn't really get exposed to a lot when we was younger, because the one store that we did have didn't carry a lot of indie stuff. So it wasn't until several years ago that I started coming across them and was like, hey, I like this, and then really started diving into it more and more. So
I do agree with you there, Nate. We need to sub up, Rich. When I last checked, you were at 75 or 78?
72, I thought.
72. Okay, then let's see 72 then. I see too many channels.
Yeah.
I don't write numbers down. Let's see if we can get Rich up to 80.
That'd be awesome.
I think with knowing my audience size right now, I don't think we can get you to 100 tonight, but I think with the replay we can get you to 100. But let's see if we can get 80, Rich to 80 by the end of the broadcast. And if that happens, I will put up a fourth bell to give away. So as I said, I always put my money where my mouth is. I will put up a fourth bell to give away next week if Rich gets to 80 subs during this broadcast tonight.
That'd be awesome. I greatly appreciate it, man. Thanks, Matt.
And so let's at that note, let's go to hi Adam, good to see you. So let's go to you and let's make you big, and let's see the books you're about.
Well, all right. Let's see how I want to start here. I was kind of going through them before the show and got them all mixed up to how I wanted to present them. Let's see. I think this is how it went. Talking about the first
one so far.
Hey, thanks, Comic Mike. Here's the first book that I ever owned. Yeah,
nice.
It's all I can't remember how that happened. It's well loved. King size annual. It's a Gil Kane cover.
At the risk of sounding like somebody we all know and love, I have that.
I have that. Yeah. I've come across them several times, and I thought, I could get another nicer copy. I'm like, no, this is my first one, man. I'm not. And then the next one after that, my favorite, the pile I have tonight is artist driven. Really, I'm a very visual guy. I'm more visual driven towards the story, as far as more than the written word, I guess you would say. But But then the next comment I got was this one. This is another well-loved Conan. If you could see it,
I do not have that one.
If you could see it in person, this one's very well-loved. It's wrinkled. I read it probably 1,000 times. He's battling this, penis worm or whatever you want to call it. But
one-eyed.
Yeah, the one-eyed monster.
The one-eyed monster. Yep.
Yeah. But and that's the one that introduced me to John Buscema, and that is by far my favorite artist. He did so much different stuff. He's done Avengers. I've got several of his Avenger books that he's done. But,
very nice.
And then, even like the Jungle Action. This is some of his earlier Marvel stuff that he had done. Trouser Snake.
So I'm guessing you're more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy. I'm guessing.
No, I'm both. I'm both. And then, Fantastic Four. Just showing off some, John Buscema stuff real quick. And then, as far as artists go, I mean, you can't not have George Perez. This is the original one I got.
Yes.
There's my cousin Jamie. Comment.
Hi, Jamie.
That this is one I got back in '85. Got the whole run. This is one of the things that's survived the purges over the years.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man. I always liked Spider-Man off and on, but never really knew how to get into him back then. When we was younger. And again, the artist is what drew me into this book, but at the same time, it's probably the lesser of his storylines. The Web of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Bess cover, I always. It was a good starting point. I remember buying this book, thinking, all right, it's a good one to start with and try to figure out, because all the other storylines, I felt like I was confused trying to jump in or something without back reading a bunch of issues or so.
Right.
And then you got to talk about, one of my other, let's see, is Sam Keith. And this is one of his lesser knowns. It's I Before E.
Right.
It's a bunch of little short stories and stuff, that he had done. It's basically kind of a reprint of all his earlier work. But it's really cool. If you guys like Sam Keith and don't have this, you need to pick it up. It's so cool. And I wish I'd have went ahead and pulled out the Incredible Hulk. He did an Incredible Hulk cover that's very, very similar to that. Very similar.
Very similar. It is nice. It's nice looking.
Yeah, I love that style. I don't know. There's something about it. And then, I have to talk about McFarlane, because, if you look on my wall, you can see I've got some McFarlane. It's a typical McFarlane stuff, that everybody else has.
I particularly like that one book with the guy that one guy that's got the mullet.
But, talking about McFarlane, I got to show off the Flaming Carrot, the Fat Turtles cover. Yeah.
Very nice. The Flaming Carrot is something that I can't seem to find. There doesn't seem to be any in my area.
Oh, dude,
I've looked at 4 different comics. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'll send you somebody, because I've got them all over down here. So yeah, I love that. That's just it's a McFarlane cover. It's one of his ones that people know of it. It's not like it's not known or nothing, but it's probably one of my favorite McFarlane covers compared to like all the Spider-Man ones and stuff.
Right. I have a couple of Spawns, but I think I've only got one other McFarlane cover, and that's the All-Star Squadron 47, which was his first cover for DC.
Okay.
I have that book because I have the entire run of All-Star, and that one actually, that one you have to actually that's the most expensive book of the run, but it's $20. So,
And then this next artist, I've showed the book. We got some laughs out of it and stuff. But I actually, after reading the little series, I started researching the artist of the book, and it's a shame, but it's this post nuke dick. But the artist is Barry Crane, and he did stuff through the 80s, and I've got a list of books I'm looking for now that I know after doing some research on him. He doesn't do comics anymore. He does movies, storyboarding and stuff. But I don't know that style. It's that indie style, I guess. But
I just added post nuke dick to the list.
There you go. It's a good tale, man. It's about
butt face.
He starts a nuclear war and puts the world into an post-apocalyptic state, because he's working a case, and he snips the wrong wire. Not to make any spoilers, but he snips the wrong wire, and it launches a nuke and starts World War III. But then, you talked about the old mullet king behind me there.
Mm-hmm.
But I always type in, Badger rules.
A
baby.
Badger. I bought my first Badger not too long ago because everybody kept talking about the Badger, and I saw one in the dollar bin, when I was not long ago. So,
but what makes this one even more special, besides being number one, it's a Steve Rude cover.
Oh, hi, Hagen.
Hey, Hagen. It's a Steve Rude cover, so that's like double the pleasure for me. It's because I love Nexus also. I've got a big collection of Nexus too. So, and then the next one is kind of another goodness, but it's really art driven, and it's called Oink.
Oink.
It's a pretty crazy tale, like I said, another post-apocalyptic type tale, where they create these man-pig hybrids basically to be slaves, and they usually don't think too much for themselves, but one guy ends up trying to figure things out and does escapes and stuff, but the art and stuff in it is just really, 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 really cool.
Hey, Nate, if you're still there, can you do a quick check on Rich's numbers?
Mine says 76. But and then let's see, we'll get show this guy talking about artists and the different styles, different love of artists and stuff. You cannot talk about artists and not mention, even though his current stuff is really an acquired taste, Frank Miller.
Yeah. Yes, Frank Miller is a great writer, but I find his art is not exactly my cup of tea, but I can understand why people like it.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you before we move on to Frank Miller, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Of all these silly books that you've shown, you have a favorite silly character?
A favorite silly character?
Like say the Flaming Carrot or something that's not, like, for example, I like Too Much Coffee Man.
Okay.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of characters off the beaten path that people like Halia and Lettuce and obviously yourself, because you have like some of these interesting books.
Yeah, it changes, my my taste for what I like to read changes from day to day. So my characters, I love Flaming Carrot, I love the Badger. Those are more well known off beaten path, but they're more well known. That's a good question. I'd have to I'd have to think about it, look through my books or something. Honestly, Matt, it's just whatever,
Right.
grabs my attention for that day, I guess. but like I said, well, I mean, if you look on my wall, like I'm more so artist driven
Yes.
than I am character driven. I mean, I love Batman, but that's not an oddity. But
Mhm.
I
And that's perfectly fine. That's a perfectly legitimate answer because
okay.
honestly, comics are a visual medium
Mm-hmm.
more than anything. I mean, yes, you can read the stories. Like if you read something, let me just bring myself back on here for a second. If you read
Yeah,
something like this is EC reprints, okay?
yeah,
There's a lot of reading involved, but there's still the pictures that, help push along the story.
right.
And I think that personally is the best part. I learned how to reading comic books at age 5.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
And before we go too far, Jamie has a question. What's the book between the ferret and the Wolverine stabbing book? I think
Oh,
he's
that's
referring to the Mr. Canoehead.
yeah. He's referring to Mr. Canoehead. He hadn't seen that one. That's the back of the cover of the. I can't. I don't know what
No,
the.
here, hang on. Don't worry about it. I got mine right here.
I was gonna say. I was gonna Matt. You got yours. We're getting ready to ask you.
Yeah, here we
Back,
go. Jamie, this is the front cover.
that's the front
This is
cover.
called the Canadian Comics Cavalcade, and it's one of our running gags right now.
Yeah. I just put it in backwards because I feel like that should have been the cover. That Mr. Canoehead should have been the cover
I do agree with you there.
because it's such it just pops off the page. Yeah, I love it. But yeah. Anyway, talking about Frank Miller, but of course it's Dark Knight
Yes,
Returns.
now, like that's what I'm talking about. That is so well written,
Mm-hmm.
but the art isn't exactly my.
See, it's one of the few series I have that I really love both. I just,
Mhm.
especially this cover, the last cover. That is just. They actually did. I actually got a variant cover from the new Absolute Batman where they did a tribute cover like this with the new Absolute Batman. I should have dug it out. It's really cool. I loved it when I seen it at one of the LCSs. I get a lot of my books from. He showed me that online. I was like, heck yeah, I want one of them.
How many current books are you subscribed to on a monthly basis?
It was about 7, but I think I've got it down to 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to cut back on the more current stuff so I can kind of concentrate on some of the older stuff. But yeah, because like I said, my reading list is never ending. It's
Yeah, I know. Every time every time I get caught up, because I try to read everything I buy, and every time I get caught up, it's like, oh, there's another show. It's a work in progress.
Life tends to get in your way a little bit here and there.
It does, but I work from home, so I have an advantage. No, I have a built-in advantage in the sense that I work from home, and therefore, when I get lunch, I can usually I can read a couple books during my lunch hour. So I manage to usually get in 1 or 2 books a day.
Oh, that's cool.
I used to try and make a point of reading 5 a day, which I was able to do before I started YouTube. But now I write shows and plan live casts, so that takes up a lot of my old reading time.
Yeah, my reading box over there is crammed full, and then I try to read one a day if I can, one an evening. I try to boost it up sometimes, but there's just some days I'm just like in between doing a show or doing or filming an episode or something. I still try to. I'm not as an avid reader as I would like to be. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's also admittedly, sometimes it's just hard to get into it, especially after a rough day. You don't want to spend time squinting. I mean, I wear reading glasses to read, and I don't want to put them on. I don't want to put them on all the time.
That's what
I
these are,
don't-
Matt. These
Yeah.
are my readers,
Yeah.
just so I can
I
see the
don't need it. I don't need it to be on camera. I can see everything perfectly on the screen here. It's that little small print that's up there. That's where my eyes are starting to fail, and it's too bad. Okay, people, I'd like to point out we're at 77, 3 more, and I will add the 4th bell for a total of 6 prizes.
That'd be sweet, man. That'd be really sweet. And well, the last artist I have here to show a few books of out of my collection, because in my collection, you talked about on your how you alphabetize yours according to the Overstreet book and stuff. Me,
Yeah.
I have everything in those BCW black boxes. I switched over
Right.
to those probably summertime last year, and I've
Right.
slowly
And
been buying some to replace all the cardboard just because they're easier to stack. You can stack them higher. But I put all my stuff in based on the book basically. Like I have a bunch of boxes that they're marked indie, but they're indie 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then DC's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I'll have my specialty boxes where it's art driven. So like I have a box that's all dedicated to Sam Keith, and then I have another one that's all Simon Bisley and McFarlane, and then I have another box that has Walt Simonson and different stuff like that in it and stuff. So, but it's just my way of doing it. Everybody has their own way, but it makes it
and that's just it. There's different ways that everybody. I know some people who do it by character. I know some people who do it by company. Like and then they do by company by character or by company by alphabetical.
Mhm.
Honestly, that the whole point of it was just so much harder because for me it's just alphabetical was easiest for me.
Yeah.
And because on my Excel sheet where I keep track of what I have, I can also put the approximate box number. That's why the numbers are on the boxes. Then I can put the approximate box number down so that I can figure it. Oh, we're at 79, Rich.
Oh man. Woo!
Jamie's trying to enlist your kids to get you, his kids to get you over 80.
Thanks, cuz. That's pretty funny. But I
So,
appreciate it.
what do you want to pursue the most right now? What is your biggest goals to get inside to get?
I mean, as far as books.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a real good question, Matt. I got it. Like a lot of people, I've got a list on my phone, and man, I've been trying to think. I'm going to Heroes Con, and hopefully a lot of people are. We get to see everybody down there. It'd be a good time. But
Right.
I've been trying to come up with a heroes list, and that's a tough one. It's like, what do you look for? I know the one thing I'm going to try to find. I'm hoping I can find and get reasonable prices on is I want to finish up the anniversary covers, the Marvel anniversary covers.
Nice.
I need the Muppets, Care Bears, and
mostly
Ewoks.
the Star Comics ones, which are the hardest ones to find.
Those 3 are the ones I need to finish that run, and then I'll have a complete run. So, and then
Lyle's asking if you have as many long boxes as he does.
heck, nobody. I don't know anybody that has as many. As
Lyle, I don't think the Library of Congress has as many long boxes as you got.
Yeah, it's that'd be an awesome. That'd be an awesome couple of days. Get to go through his stuff, man. Check out.
Robbie has a question. What comic book made the biggest impression on you?
Conan. Yeah, I mean that's what got me started. I'm not sure exactly why, because it was when did the movie come out? The movie. I was trying to think when the movie came out.
Hang on a second there, Rich.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. Thank you.
All right. I rang that bell at him. All right. There will be a 4th bell given away.
Heck yeah,
Okay.
buddy. Thank you. Thank you for getting me there, man. It's I'm dumbfounded every time I get on and look. And yeah, like I said, I've only been doing this a few months. So my whole goal when I started this was, I wanted to get not just pump out episodes or videos.
Hi, John.
I wanted them to be interesting. So, but my goal was I wanted to get 20 videos out in 2 months, and then I might slow down a little bit as far as like 1 or 2 a week or just 1 a week. But I, yeah, the ferret, the badger's usually next to him, but I was showing it off a minute ago. But
One of the things that I did notice the first time, I admit that I noticed that ferret book the first time I saw your videos, and I just remember I had to pause because I was laughing so hard. I this week, I kid you not, the ferret #1, that book right up there that you've got up there, has reached $3 in value.
yes, that's
It's
awesome.
now it was $1 when I bought it, and it's now up to $3.
The demand is going up. I love it. And that's, I mean, and honest, and all joking, I mean, that die cut, I know, like, I think K Munin, he hates it. And I think
He just put this comment here: ferret, badger, and canoe had her blemishes on any wall.
Shoot, man. Heck no, dude. That is needs a spotlight on it, you know. But it's an original thing to me. I mean, all joking aside, that die cut, it's a gimmick, but no one else was doing that. And it's so cool.
I know.
And it's like the bullet hole one too. I've been meaning to put that up on the wall too.
I cannot believe, because when I bought the ferret, there were 19 on the census. It is now 23. Okay, because I wanted to know all these little facts, because we were talking. The original joke was we were going to try and get it on Comic Tom's Hot 10.
Yeah. We keep doing it, man. We'll get it there. We'll get it there.
It just may happen.
But the last artist I have to talk about, or last books, is another person that, you know, I would love to meet, and he was actually scheduled to come to the Cincinnati Comic Con last year, but then he canceled. So I was glad I didn't buy a ticket, because he was the only reason I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
Is Simon Bisley.
Right.
Between him and Sam Keith, I mean, they're in my top 5, you know. And this book here, you know, it's what's crazy is I can remember seeing this thing in the dollar bin, you know, for the longest time.
Right.
And I used to pick them up all the time, as much as, you know, every time I came across them. But now it's, you know, up in value. It's not like crazy money, but it's gone up, which is good. And then if anybody's seen this is Simon Bisley.
I have seen Monster Massacre before.
It is really cool. The next book I'll show you is related to it, but he put out a couple of these Monster Massacres. This is his take on Thor,
right?
And in this book, it's a bunch of short stories with several different artists and stuff. I mean, he has a story in it, but there's several other ones. And then this next one is,
I love those anthology books.
And then this one's Maximum Force. This is his take on Thor after 3,000 years of fighting in battles. This is his take of what he thought he would look like. He goes by Max in this book. So it's just I just love that art style, man.
That's got that almost reminds me of Rob Liefeld in his chest with the way the shoulders are also big with the cap chest. That's amazing. That is so such a unique styling.
Yeah, I mean he did a lot of Lobo. I could have pulled out a lot more Lobo. You know, he did a lot of different Lobo ones and stuff. But yeah, he's another one of those artists I love. But
one of my biggest disappointments was Ottawa Comic Con had a triple bill booked. Yeah. They got 3 people: Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar. They got all 3 of them to come one year.
Wow.
The problem is, 2 weeks before Comic Con, Adam West had to cancel because he got sick, and then he died 5 weeks later. And so I lost my chance to meet Adam West. I did see Burt Ward and Julie Newmar, but The losing the chance to have seen Adam West was devastating to me at
Oh
the time
man, yeah,
as a
that
collector and fan. So
yeah, that would have been sweet.
I'm sure it was devastating for a lot of people for other
Yeah.
reasons, but for me as a collector, it was tough.
I seen Mike's Total Dragon channel. Bisley signed my Lobo book back #2. That's awesome, dude.
Mm.
I'm hoping that he comes to Heroes Con. He's not on the list yet, but Mr. SideQuest,
Hi, Eric.
glad you're here, buddy. But yeah, that's all the ones I had pulled. I actually got another box. I mean, I could show off a bunch of books, but I had mentioned
We've got time if you want to show off 5 or 6 more.
Well,
We're only
a little
35.
story. It's a kind of a sad story. I mentioned it on my live stream that I did Friday night. Hey Chaco, hey buddy, and I'd mentioned on there on the live stream that one of the LCSs, it's actually the one that's closest to my house, they're closing, and this Friday is actually going to be their last day open, and it's not because they couldn't. It wasn't because the store wasn't making money. It's because the guy that owns it, he works full time and he took a bigger position, and it's just too much.
I believe it.
So so they had this past Saturday they had a sale, and they were doing $1 on all back issues.
Hi, son of Crom.
Hey Crom. So $1 for all back issues, man. So yeah, I filled up a short box.
I don't blame you there. I probably would have bought a long box.
But speaking of artists, I will show a couple of these. One of the newer artists that I really, really love, current artist that I really, really love, is Daniel Warren Johnson. And I picked
Jurassic League. That is a good one.
Jurassic League.
I'm waiting for the trade. It's probably out already, but
yeah, I that is just awesome, dude. Just awesome. And then here's another Simon Bisley, the Lobo. I always love how he does Lobo. You know, to me, he defines how Lobo looks to me, you know.
And yes, I mean, Keith Giffen did an interesting original drawing of him, but yeah, he looks much better now. Even though Keith Giffen created the character, he looks much better now.
And then speaking of, you know, Daniel Warren Johnson, I got this run too, do a power bomb.
We have another question. Adam's asked if you've read Murder Falcon.
No, I have not. Someone else was talked about that, and I have not come across it yet. So yeah, I need to pick it up. Wait, Jurassic League's on my list. Johnson's. Yeah, he is. He is Nate. That's what I said. As far as my current artist, he's the one. It's the only reason I read Transformers. You know, it's because of him. And then I showed a few of these books on that live stream. Let's see what I can find. Did get that. That's kind of cool, man. I love the.
I like that one. Is that Cardi? It looks like it's the writing certainly looks like him.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Number 38.
Yeah, that's Cardi's Aquaman covers are some of the best covers Aquaman ever had.
Yeah, I mentioned that to you before. I love those earlier books, man.
Yeah.
And then see, where was that one at? That's number 2. I had number 1. Then I got this one. Picked this one up. That was
that's a nice one too.
Yeah, Head of the Family.
All of that DC horror from the 70s. I like it. It's something that I'd like to get more of.
Yeah, I mean, for $1, you couldn't pass it up. And this, like I said, all this. And then, you know, I forget who showed this on one of the streams and this and that. But when I came across, I was like, oh, yeah, I got to have this one.
Yes. Many people I know have that book. I am not one of them.
It's pretty rough down through there, but it presents very well.
That's one I actually actively looked for the last three or 4 weeks at every place I've gone, and No one's got a copy at the moment.
Nobody's got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yeah, I love that. Whipping a doll. It's
Mhm.
a wooden
It's
puppet.
just such. It's just. It says screams Silver Age Superman right there in a nutshell.
And then what number's that one? Yeah, 22. This was Jonah Hex Weird Western Tales.
Yeah, that's another good series that I've got 3 or 4 books from.
And then
Nice.
grab a couple of those.
I think I have that one. I'd have to look it up, but I think I have that one.
Then there's a couple of
K Munin. We've talked about this on. I mean, not Alan. Stephen has given out what goes on in that book. If I remember correctly, she's beating up Superman because there's some sort of witch's curse or something, and the only way to defeat it is to have Lois beat the doll, the puppet or whatever, and that somehow will break the curse. I think that's what it is. I think you've got the book there, Hall. Yeah, if you've read it, tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, I was half afraid to look through the copy I have because it's like I said, it's falling apart, but it still presents well. So, and then these Challengers,
Challengers, another fun series.
Yeah, got a couple of those. I really like this cover.
Yeah, I am an unabashed Silver Age DC fan. I will, How did that pass the code? Probably because it was Superman, Lau. No, Stephen has actually explained that Lois Lane was one of those titles that just seemed to slip under all the time. Had a lot of just a little closeness, but never quite was banned, so to speak. So,
and then with my
Oh yeah, there we go. I made a video about how crazy that story was. That's basically it. So maybe it was Hall Yeah that I'm remembering it from then. Yeah, I know that video. I've seen that video.
Yeah, I got this. It's a Rick Veitch book.
Yes.
It's just.
I also like seeing a lot of these 80s books that are making a comeback. The ones that were the black and white, the off, not DC, not Marvel. I guess they call them independents, but back then they called them something else, and the name is escaping me.
I love how that says recommended for immature readers.
Yes.
I said, that's what I am. Immature. But then we'll start a new FOMO, man.
Night Watch. I'm going to write that down.
Night Watch number 1.
Night Watch number 1. Is that a foily?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to write down foily.
Yeah, that thing is glimmering like a disco ball. I love it. But,
okay, so they probably were called indies now that I think about it. That's probably the word. Yeah, that's probably the word I was thinking, and I'm just blanking.
80s indies. I always called it, I just say oddness, goodness, but that's what I mean is 80s indie, But, yeah, it's awesome. And then I showed this on Friday. I'm gonna try to find the rest of this series because I absolutely love this.
Okay, there's already 2 that we're aware of. We've got Aquaman from Atlantis. We've got Namor from Atlantis. Now it's Man.
This was a TV show.
Really?
Yeah, this was a TV show. That's why I said I love it. Only lasted 1 season, and it crushed me I remember when I was a kid. It crushed me because I loved it. And then, so I came across this, and I was like, I'm gonna have to start hunting down the rest of that series. But yeah,
yeah, Comic Mike. There was a TV show. He's saying that's right.
Yeah, it was a TV show.
That's one I've never heard of, and that's amazing because there's not a lot of shows I haven't heard of. My dad watched everything under the sun in the 70s, so being in the same I was osmosis the most of it.
I was a TV freak for sure when I was a kid.
Patrick Duffy, really, Lyle?
Yeah, that's the name. Thank you, Lyle. He went on to Dallas.
Yeah, I remember him from Dallas. That was the biggest, the biggest thing I remember. He was also in that show with Suzanne Summers. There was some sort of comedy, I think.
Yeah. Where's that one? Here's another one. got out of the dollar bin. And Eric SideQuest, he was doing some investigation trying to figure out whose signature that is.
Wow.
But this was $1, so it's.
Well, it looks like a double D.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I told him, I said, I don't know if it's a JP or because when you look in the credits, it's
right.
different names and stuff, or Paul Jenkins or something like that. Is that Paul Jenkins' first name? Maybe it's a P and a J. I said,
No.
trying to figure out. Hey, Stevie D, how you doing, buddy?
Apparently the TV show is 1977. Wow. See, even I learned something doing these things. And now I have a TV show I have to track down.
It is top-notch quality too, buddy, for the 70s. But Man from the Land.
Keyword is for the 70s, right?
Right.
I think nothing beats the $6 Million Man or Wonder Woman.
Oh yes, yeah. I had the action figure, $6 Man action figure, and trying to think of what her name was, but yeah. But yeah, I got the Blue Devil #1. Collectors. It's a collector's issue, man.
I mean, I liked it, but I didn't understand the Incredible Hulk that much, and my dad didn't like it, so I didn't get to see a lot of episodes.
Oh, really, man? That was a big staple.
It was up against another show that my dad really liked, and we only had the one TV in the house at the time.
But I mean, I can keep showing books. Like I said, I got this long box full. I went nuts, man. Then I did get this.
Smile, that's another good one. Lindsay Wagner.
Karate Kid.
I have a few of those, but I don't have those two.
Yeah, this is 5 and number 2 and 5.
You know that the movie actually had to get permission from DC, eh?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
And they do acknowledge DC Comics in the credits.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah, it's at the end. Thanks to DC Comics for letting us use the name. It says.
That's always crazy. Let's see. I did find a old Jungle Action.
Nice.
Number 5 for $1. So, like I said, it was a sad situation. I talked to the owner for a minute because they were on my list to do an LCS,
Yeah, well, I'm proud to announce that Ottawa is getting a new LCS soon.
Cool.
It's going to be called Nefarious Comics, and it's by a gentleman named Ryan Jordan, who has already got a following because he's a staple of all the local scene at the comic shows. And I will honestly say that Ryan Jordan from Nefarious Comics sells some of the best conditioned books that I've ever bought from the 70s. I bought off him. He is very good at putting out the high grade stuff, and Ferret Comics. Come on. So I'm just glad that we're going back up to 6 stores. We're in a metropolitan area of 1 million people, and we should have more stores than we do.
That's great.
We get a lot of sideshows. I can't complain. Mm-hmm. Not a month goes by in Ottawa where I can't go to a show. Okay, there's always a show going on.
That's one of the stores. One of the stores I'm going to do the highlight on is Jim and Dan's Comic and Card Shop, and they're the ones that put on the local show that the video I'd made, and they do it 4 times a year. And for a small show, it is really, really good show. Really good show.
Well, Rich, I'm really glad to have had you on the show tonight. This was a gas. We got you to over 80 subs.
That's awesome.
I think 100 would have been a little hard. So, but we did what we could. We got you up there. And just a reminder for everybody that on Sunday, March 30th, that's my next Sunday Superman show. I am going to give the giveaway of 6 prizes now. 4 of them bells. That way we can all ding along when we say my comic shop.
Ding, ding, ding. Yep. Heck yeah, buddy. That's awesome.
If you're watching on the the rewatch here, I am putting the YouTube link to that video for the giveaway. You've got to be a subscriber, and on that video, you've got to put the hashtag I have that in the comment section, because that's what I'm going to be pulling from in order to do our giveaway. Hi, AG. I'm glad you can make it. And of course, Lyle's got to go there.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
So I appreciate everybody that came today. Thank you very much. There's no show next week, as I said. It's my daughter's birthday, so I'm going to be skipping the week. Join us again on April Fool's Day, April 1st, when my guest will be Comic Mike.
That's cool. Can't wait.
Okay. My name's Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks.